Hi guys, welcome to Money by Sunny. Today, we'll be talking about the financial impact of instant gratification or buying things on impulse, its impact on your monthly spending, and ultimately how it can affect your budget. We'll then get into 8 great techniques you can adopt to help you avoid instant gratification and stick to your budget. First off, what is instant gratification? Instant gratification basically means giving in to your immediate urges to get an immediate benefit. Unfortunately, this often comes at the expense of your more long-term goals. In terms of your financials, instant gratification often comes in the form of impulse spending on items that you can actually do without. In psychology terms, this is known as the pleasure principle, which refers to the human tendency to seek out short-term pleasure and avoid pain. The pain in this case is referring to instant gratification's wiser twin, which is delayed gratification. This refers to the opposite, which is not giving in to immediate desires in return for an even better reward in future. A great way to illustrate this is a famous experiment that was conducted at Stanford University in the 1960s called the Marshmallow Test. The gist of it was that a number of children were put individually by themselves in rooms and then presented with a marshmallow on a table. An adult, which was the researcher conducting the experiment, would then tell each child, if you eat this marshmallow, that's all you will get. But if you don't, I might give you another one later, meaning 2 marshmallows. The researcher would then leave the room for 15 to 20 minutes. This is a classic demonstration of instant gratification. Eat the marshmallow now, but that's all you get. Or resist the impulse, wait, and have the possibility of getting an additional marshmallow. As it turned out, the researchers checked in on these children over the next few decades. And those who practiced delayed gratification and waited for a potential second marshmallow were generally more successful in their lives. Apart from helping you stick to your budget, this experiment is a clear demonstration of the psychological benefits of avoiding instant gratification. Let's go through some of the specific ways to help you achieve this. Number 1. Be clear about your middle-term or long-term objectives. This is probably the key element behind learning and practicing how to resist instant gratification. Because if you don't have a middle-term or long-term goal, you'll find it to be a lot more difficult to resist impulse purchases. These goals can be things like saving up for a down payment for a house or saving up for a car, or for any other thing that has a clearly defined figure and time frame that you are shooting towards. It's important to be as detailed as you can, because if your goals are too abstract or fuzzy, they may subconsciously become less appealing because they are harder to quantify. It also helps to keep a reminder of your goals handy so that they are easier to refer to and to visualize. This could be something like a running figure of the remaining amount that you're saving for, or a picture of the car that you're planning to buy. Once you have these goals in place, you've got your foundation that will act as a barrier against instant gratification. Number 2. Picture your future self. Once you have your objectives detailed out, you have a vision of where you would like to be after a certain period of time. Then, each time you're faced with the temptation of buying something on impulse, you can then work out how this will affect your goal. And importantly, you can take a moment to try to picture how your future self will view this purchase. Funnily enough, it helps if you have previous purchases that you now regret, as these regretful feelings are something you certainly want to avoid subjecting your future self to. In short, the goal should be to avoid loading the future you with the pain of regret, rather than satisfying the present you with only short-term, temporary pleasure. Number 3. Identify and avoid sources of temptation. This step tries to attack one of the roots of the problem of instant gratification, which is to remove the temptations. If there are no temptations, it's a lot easier to avoid impulsive purchases, rather than having to exercise your willpower to restrain yourself each and every time a tempting purchase catches your eye. It helps to sit down and identify where your past impulsive purchases have come from, and then figure out how to avoid these channels. Some of the more common measures that you could take include unsubscribing from marketing e-newsletters, avoiding going to the mall and the shops too often, uninstalling certain e-commerce apps from your phone, etc. Number 4. Stay busy. Similar to number 3, this method tries to get at the root of the problem, which can be that idle time can sometimes be the cause of giving in to instant gratification. After all, wouldn't we all rather be doing something pleasurable or exciting rather than coping with boredom? The problem in this situation is that we sometimes attempt to fill this idle time with impulse purchases, which gives us that temporary rush of satisfaction. A good strategy to prevent this is to try and avoid having these long stretches of boredom by staying busy. This can take many forms: volunteering on the weekends, spending more time with family, taking up a new hobby, etc. Anything that reduces your do-nothing time will help prevent giving in to instant gratification, and has the added bonus of accomplishing something worthwhile in your spare time. Number 5. Have a support buddy. When you first start out, it can be difficult to practice delayed gratification if it's something that you're not used to. One way to help you stay on track is to get a support or accountability buddy who can help you think through your potential purchases, make better decisions, and ultimately help you avoid those spur-of-the-moment buys. This buddy can be a close friend or a family member, as long as it's someone who is accessible and you are comfortable with, as this person will sometimes have to act as the bad guy who helps you keep on the right path. This concept works for many other areas in life, such as quitting smoking, sticking to a diet, and other areas where the goal is to forego short-term pleasure in return for long-term gain. Number 6. Manage and improve self-control. Strengthening your self-control or willpower is something that will help you in almost every facet of your life. However, it's not something that can be achieved that easily. It comes down to constant practicing of restraining yourself from giving in to temptations or urges, which over time will improve your self-control. This is a lot like how lifting weights and exercising will gradually build muscle. The key item here is to always remain focused on your long-term objectives, and understand and accept that those objectives are the things that will ultimately give you lasting satisfaction. Once this is ingrained in you, practicing self-control and delayed gratification becomes more achievable, as you will be more aware of the bigger picture and how avoiding giving in to short-term impulses detracts from that. Number 7. Accept that there will be some pain in the short term. Resisting instant gratification is undoubtedly not a straightforward thing, and it does involve some sacrifices in return for achieving your longer-term goals. It's important to realize that it won't be plain sailing from the get-go. There will be some pain as you adjust to this new philosophy. Mentally, it's important to accept this and prepare yourself for it, so that you don't experience too much resentment when you do encounter the pain. Think of it as a way of priming or armoring yourself to deal with the inevitable discomfort that will occur along your journey. Number 8. Don't plan to eliminate instant gratification completely. It's hard to completely eliminate any impulse purchases from your life, and trying to do so at one go may breed a lot of resentment, depending on your personality. As a compromise, don't plan to eliminate instant gratification completely. Instead, accept that you're only human and that there will be some occasional lapses. What you can do is to try to steadily reduce these occurrences over time, rather than trying to go cold turkey overnight. And even in the long term, there may still be occasional impulse buys. But as long as these are the exception and not the norm, you're still on the right path towards a better financial future. In conclusion, Jerry Seinfeld had this to say about instant gratification. I never get enough sleep. I stay up late at night because I'm night guy. Night guy wants to stay up late. What about getting up after 5 hours of sleep? Oh, that's morning guy's problem. That's not my problem. I'm night guy. I stay up as late as I want. This summarizes the issue with instant gratification neatly and simply. You're essentially sacrificing your future financial security, which is morning guy, and wellness in return for an immediate but very short-term pleasure, which is night guy. In the end, of course, morning guy and night guy are the same person, and the consequences of your short-term decisions will negatively affect your long-term future. I hope you got some useful insights from this video. Give us a like and subscribe if you did, and see you next time on Money by Sunny.